It's fine. Okay. Yeah, my video is up now. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I was saying, I'm super excited to do this panel today because it's a very interesting topic or subject. I'm more, if I say for my WhatsApp status, everybody was like commenting because it's a topic that most Nigerian youth are interested in. Everybody's talking about leaving the country, jackpying, but let's really dive deep into this today. I think we have someone, another panelist here. Good afternoon.
Hi, Sophie. Good afternoon.
Welcome, welcome. Hi, Kenneth. So we introduced me. So I think Usman can introduce himself as well so that we can get to meet you.
All right, great. Sorry I came in late. I was battling with the sign up. So my name is Fale Osman. Of course, I'm a development strategist, and I'm happy to be here to discuss one of the most relative discussions ever. And thanks to Youth Collaborating Summit for putting this together. Yeah, good to meet you guys. Kenneth.
Okay, awesome. So first question, I'm just going to throw to the table. Was there a moment you just realized that, oh guys, I think I'm done. I want to leave. Like I just want to jackpot. Was there a moment, Kenneth? I think you should start this one for us. Was there a moment like, I think I need to leave Nigeria?
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Kenneth, and I'm a digital marketer. So for me, right, I think for the longest time, I've always wanted to leave. Like not just because of the current situation. I was always, fantasizing of being a student in MIT, kind of like the Harvard for technology and all of that, hoping I'll get a scholarship because I can't clearly afford $50,000 a year school fees. So like for the longest time, I've always wanted to leave the country, but right now, no. Funny enough, like I feel like there are a lot more opportunities, right? Because I'm not as eager to go to Canada or do the student express entry, or let's say the UK Tech Nation. I would like to opportunities are available for people who are looking towards leaving the country, right? Because my matured state now is that I feel like there's a lot more opportunities. And if you look, people are actually coming back into the country to set up organizations, right? So yeah, I vote for stay.
All right. So what about you, Usman? Was there that moment?
Well, I mean, I probably would ask us to take a vote because I think every average Nigerian you'd have that moment, rightly, Sophie. I mean, there was that time where I thought I wasn't getting so much of the education I was receiving in the country, I kind of felt like the educational system is just rolling you within a smaller circle and not allowing you to explore enough. But again, like Kenneth rightly said, where do you want to get the $50K to pay for school? So, and as much as you want to go, what exactly are you living back? How would you survive? All of those fears are there. I wouldn't say I'm not still interested in that mission because it's a relative thing, like I rightly said, because even your human capital and maybe coming back and then improving your society or using that to improve on yourself or your profession is one key drive for me, right? Because I mean, there's that public sentiment about, oh, Sophie is a Harvard graduate. Wow. In fact, they won't read your CV. They want to call you for the next job.
True. Both of you are, I agree with both of you because I've had that moment myself where I'm like, I really want to leave. But recently, I've just realized that, hey, so many things are happening here. I'm open to, a lot of development and, ideas. And like Kenneth rightly said, a lot of people are actually coming back to the country. You find people going abroad to school and then they're coming back. unlike before where they, they just school and they start working and they live there. So definitely, I'm sure a lot of people in the audience will also agree to, this situation. So the question is Japa or more job opportunities, or job opportunities or Japa. Will you say that having more job opportunities would affect the rate at which people leave the country? Would you say that, technically speaking? Hi, who wants to jump on that? Would you say?
Come again, please, Sophia.
So would you say that providing more job opportunities would reduce the rate at which young people want to leave the country?
So, who do you want to take first, myself or Kenneth?
Yes, please. Usman, you can go ahead.
All right. There are kinds of jobs and there are jobs, right? So the bigger question is how much job meets the reality of the country, right? So, federal government has rolled out a lot of schemes. You could even have to say, oh, we're creating 10,000 jobs. But how do those jobs connect to the realities of survival within the country? So for me, I don't think that would be a greater factor if only the job are able to fit into the context of our reality in terms of survival. And again, young people within this generation are very competitive, right? So, you can't just go so comfortable with the pennies, right? You probably feel like, oh, no, I really want to earn more. I want to have more knowledge. So it depends on the kind of job being provided, as well as the societal opportunities that you get and that would want to convince you to stay. I'll give you a quick example. You have well-paying jobs, but you don't have this social protection to bounce back stocks or even losing your job, right? So those are some of the fears and some of the things we don't have in country that would, improve the drive to want to japa. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So from everything you said, I've gotten that it's not about the quantity of job, but the number of jobs, it's the quality. So even if you are creating a lot of jobs, is it do they have quality? Are you paying them well? Are you going to pay the youth well? Are you going to provide benefits, social security, health benefits, and all of that? So which is very important and very key. I think that's one of the things Nigeria has really lacked over time. The fact that you start a job, it's either not paying you so well because by the time you you take rent and all of that, there's almost nothing left. And adding to the whole trouble. So yeah, I think more quality than quantity. So I think, Kenneth, do you have anything you want to add to this? Should we create more jobs to help people decide to say, oh, I want to stay back in Nigeria? Is that a solution?
Okay, I think first, that's actually a dicey question, right? Because I am kind of like an opinion that there are actually jobs available, because we have a very funny situation where employers are complaining that there isn't enough skilled labor, and potential employees are saying that there are no jobs, right? So who is telling the truth and who is telling the lie? It's kind of like dicey to tackle. But I would say in terms of like job and opportunities, one is if you are educated and have the skill for the job market, you should be able to get a job either within your country or outside your country, thanks to this beautiful thing that we live in our backyard called the internet, right? So take India, for instance. They don't have that much, or they have much, but they're also providing services outside the country, right? So in terms of like, you call Google to complain about your ad not running, and next thing you hear is a man with an Indian accent, and you're like, right? And you know that they're not calling you from Texas, they're calling you from Bangladesh or somewhere, right? Out of the US or the UK, because of that's cheaper for whatever companies employing them, right, to outsource that service. So I feel like there's a whole lot of movements in the outsourcing sector that Nigerians can capitalize on. I mean, I have a friend that is a programmer and earns $5,000 monthly programming all the way from here in Nigeria, right? So it's just, are we educating our youth enough? Most of our curriculums are kind of like backdated. I did a speech recently, I had to like apologize to the audience, telling them that your school is not preparing you enough for the jobs of the future, right? In 10 years' time, most of the jobs you see now won't be available, or the jobs you'll be doing in 10 years, 15 years' time haven't been created already. So how many people are teaching you stuff on UX design, you know, project management, product development, project specialist? It just goes on and on. Growth hacker, growth marketer, you know, data analyst. So I feel like that factor needs to be addressed first before we can go into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were so spot on. You just hit the nail on the head, literally. So most people are not that they're no jobs per se, because I'm on a group chat on WhatsApp, a job opportunity group chat, and they share literally 20 or 30 job opportunities every single day. And I still have people in my circle that are looking for jobs. So the question is, how come they are not applying for these jobs, or they're not qualified for these jobs? Which brings us back to the base, education. So the average Nigerian youth leaves school, probably cannot really write an email. If you see some emails, you'll be shocked. They can't write an email. They cannot prepare a PowerPoint presentation. They can't write an essay properly. And you're wondering, you just finished the university, Jesus. And these are like basic skills when you come to, you know, international standard that younger people already have. So the question is, before we start talking about jobs, I think a lot of things need to be, you know, reviewed and rectified and changed and upgraded. So we need to upgrade our education system. We need to prepare our youth, not just to have jobs, not just looking for jobs here in Nigeria, to be able to, you know, compete globally, because so many jobs outside, you know, the country that don't even require you to relocate or move. Do you get? And so, yeah, brings us back to the question of what is the solution? What can we really do? Now, this is not what can government do. That's not what I'm asking, because half of the time the average Nigerian is like, oh, our government is not doing this, our government is not doing that. Well, guys, guess what? Our government is not going to do for a very long time. And I think it's up to us, as you know, to take our own choice in our hands and create the future we want, to create the community we want to live in. So Usman, what do you think? Do you have any ideas? What should we do as young people?
I mean, I'll just take the answers from your questions already. It's very funny, and like Kenneth rightly said, that you really need to be able to match the square peg with the square pole by putting up yourself for all of those skills. I think young Nigerians need to leave their comfort zone, because your comfort zone can never be your pay zone, right? To learn skills, to be able to self-develop yourself and be able to compete well. I can't tell you less about how much more opportunities are there. But you know, on that platform, you are receiving 30 jobs a day. The quality of the job you want to get depends on the kind of skills that you think you have, the kind of investment that you've done on yourself, right? The kind of struggles that you've pitched on together, you know. I mean, nobody should wake you up and say, come on, you need to know how to put up an Excel. I've had to engage with a computer science student that doesn't fancy what Excel looks like. I mean, he's even had to pull up a budget from Excel, and I'm like, wow, okay. You know, I mean, that's it. And we're a product of a very, very, I don't know what to call it, educational system, especially for some of us that attended the public schools, that do not set you up those certain soft skill, you know. And the majority of the skills that you need within the workspace or to get the desired job are those soft skills, right? You need to be a multi-potentialist in the sense that once the job is available, at least once you see the JD, you're already seeing yourself in the job. I once met a friend at an airport in Addis. I mean, we became friends just within that meeting. We were lining up for our visa, and then she was from Gambia. And then she got a job with UNICEF in Addis in Ethiopia. And I was asking, wow, how did that happen? She was like, well, I was just volunteering for, the child protection or discussion in Gambia. I usually do some write-ups and then post it. And these gave me an edge. And, I use a particular young Pan-African website to search for jobs. So she doesn't in herself search for just national jobs. She continentally search for jobs, and that's how she got the job. And I was like, wow. In fact, I didn't just blink enough to say, come on, let me have that website. I mean, that would be so much interesting. And then she was telling me, said, there's a whole lot of opportunity, but young Africans do not, you don't just see, when you're so clouded with your comfort zone, you probably think the only job you can get should be between Ikeja and Lekki, or between Rodu and Badagry, right? Or between Kaduna and Kaduna South, thinking about how much more you can explore even within your country, as much as you have those skills. There are tons and tons of people in Lagos that have certain skills that is needed in Sokoto, in Kebbi, right? But you don't, of course, get to think around that because you're just so comfortable with your comfort zone. And again, like I rightly said, the real solution is about developing your skills widely, in preparing yourself for the tough of it, right? The soft skills, the self-development. I mean, nobody should tell you that, man. Job is as competitive as it is, as never been before. Even if you want to have a job cross-continentally, there is someone there that could do what you could do best. But the only value you would add to your skill would be what would set you up for that next job. So I think young people within ourselves, and like you said, not relying on any government to develop ourselves, typically that would be a real game changer for each and every one of us to actually move. Even if you want to Japa, your Japa needs to come with a whole lot of quality skill, unless you are getting the low paid job. Yeah, Sophie.
Yeah, I mean, you dropped so many valid points. Leveling up your skills, developing yourself, not just national standards, but with global standards.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just piggybacking on what Usman said, right? I feel like when it comes to like job opportunities and people, so for me, right, I kind of feel bad anytime I think of the fact that I can do like 4 or 3 jobs at once, right? And somebody is still like trying to get their first job, right? And it's kind of like, okay, why is this happening? Like, but sometimes we also have to like remember the fact that privilege also plays an important role into the situation of things in Nigeria. So for example, doing some trainings with Google Digital Skills, I was able to like travel down to like the South, and not like the South cities, but like their local governments, and see the state of things in terms of like local government schools. And I was like shocked, for somewhere that prides themselves on, having like most of the PhDs holders in Nigeria and being educated and whatnot, and having plenty uncles and cousins in London. Was like, so this is the real you that you're hiding, and you're claiming like the North is the one that has like a huge education deficit, but it's not the case, right? So for example, I taught a class of SSC students, and I was asking them about Facebook, Google, and they were like, they don't know Google. I'm not even sure. Like, it was very weird. Like, they didn't know some common things, right? And they knew like to go. I was like, okay, but this is like 2019. To go is dead. Like, when they're talking about WhatsApp. So like privilege also plays that important role, and how educated those people are, right? And then again, like how many people are actually looking for how to apply, or are confident. So to play back on my own experience, I remember when I applied for the job at Bella Ninja, it was a joke. Like, it was just a joke. I just applied for like, will these people take me? right? Because I had been like a freelancer for a long time and I didn't have a university degree at the time. I was like, oh, I have quite a good repertoire in terms of understanding how blogging works and the software needed to do this job. Would they just accept me? Let's see how it goes. And luckily I got it, right? Funny enough. So it's like, how many people will see jobs that they are underqualified for and just, you know what, let me just apply and let's see how that will take me, right? I spoke with someone who has a master's degree, and she was like, she doesn't think anybody can pay her 200,000 naira. Like 200,000 naira is a cap. And I'm like, please delete that thought. There are people who are like earning like dollars, right? And you don't have like a university degree. They haven't gone to school. Their only school is YouTube and learning tutorials from YouTube, right? Then how many of you know like platforms like angellist.co that you can use to apply for foreign jobs, or Jobberman, for instance? I met someone who just graduated from school and didn't know Jobberman, like a site in your country, right? So it's things like this that also just comes to mind when we talk about job opportunities for me.
Yeah, I mean, I just got something from everything you just said. The fact that a lot of Nigerians, even if these opportunities are there, a lot of young people have no idea, or sometimes they feel more underqualified per se, and don't actually go for these opportunities. Same way you applied to Bella Niger, and I thought I wasn't going to get in because I was like, I don't have any experience, so I'm just leaving school, moving to work, and I got in because all you need is just the knowledge, the eagerness, and the ability to learn quickly, and you probably get a good job, to be honest. And so it probably boils down to people like you and I sharing our stories, which takes me to the next point. Most young people don't know a lot of things because those that are doing well are not sharing their stories. So nobody is coming to say, "Oh yeah,
they're saying it's
I was able to."
all God.
Yeah, exactly.
We thank God.
Yeah, we praise God and all of that, but we need to share our stories as plain and simple as it is. Hey, this is what I was doing, and I just decided to do this, and here I am today. So we need to tell more stories. We need to share more experiences on platforms that we have: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We need to share those stories. We need to even have physical sessions because, like Hannah said, some people in the South see easy to go.
Sorry. Yeah, can I just add this in? Like, can I just add this in? Just to be fair, right? I feel like just to give people who have been applying, like at least someone is knowing what they are going through. I've also been applying to like tons and tons of jobs and I don't get feedback. Also, even if you have a good CV, right? And sometimes it looks like these jobs application are kind of like advert placements for the companies that are making these positions available, right? Because you keep on applying and like, what's happening, right? Why is it that I'm dumb or what, right? But what I've realized that as you go higher up in terms of like career opportunities and like say bigger jobs or more executive roles, you tend to see that it's less of application and more of referrals, right? So people who get these bigger jobs, not entry level anymore, are like, we've worked together, somebody knows you somewhere, but you're still a good candidate. It's not undermining your capabilities, but still again, it's just like referral. So try to invest in networking with people, like Usman said, in terms of like volunteering, like what I did. What I've learned over the fact is, or one of my mental models is, try to get as much people to know you or know that you exist and know that you do a certain thing. So when they're looking for that particular person, you just magically pop up like an ad on YouTube.
Exactly. And Usman, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think since you mentioned talking about, I really might not be able to tell you about how stories could change some other person's idea about a whole lot of things, because I just reflect on myself and I'd be like, if I tell my story, will you even believe, right? I mean, will you also believe, will you also not want to think that, I mean, that's your part. I mean, what's it? Let me also forge my own path. But you know, some of us, and go and check through, like the way I'm just having to have that sober reflection now. We're product of a tough time volunteering and getting to do one thing that gets us to where we are. Started my career in the private sector, and it was me and my friend and my brother that walked to the job. The job didn't look for us. You remember trade fair in Lagos, right?
Yeah.
Trade fair opens annually. I think the trade fair is also open this time. I can recall it was sometimes a year ago, many years ago anyway. So we were just like, come on, the school is on strike. We can't continue all of this whole way. We have to go get something and make money. Oh, let's go to trade fair. We would find something, right? And then we went to trade fair. Unfortunately for us that day, I mean, right from the gates, we're almost sharing tears because they said trade fair is not going to happen this year. The road is bad, blah, blah, blah. Damn. And this is also looking for any marketing job we could get. I could just so that we get a penny. On our way out, we just saw some people just with speaker and Maggie, no mix P. Probably know the no powder, right? They were just there, nothing was happening. Yeah. And then we walked up to them and said, Madam, please, we are actually here to look for job. We can help you sell these things. And the what's it called? The DJ was there playing the song, nobody was attending. And then the next few minutes, she said, okay, well, we can't take 3 of you. We can only take 2 persons because we pay 1,500 to work under the sun. To see out of it. So, okay, we said, okay, no problem. That's 3,000, no problem. Take 3 of us. We will share the money, 1K. And then imagine leaving Youthcosum to go to trade fair. Imagine leaving that area to go to far. That's like you have finished your transport. But you know, the zeal, the drive was just there that as a young person, just get something going, right? And then we started, you know, we didn't have share because we didn't prepare. So they gave us the apron, right? And then we started dancing and the whole thing in our hands. And guess what? That was how we sold the entire cartons of Maggie Mix in that market that day. As everybody, you know, of course, you know, Lagosians now, once everybody's rushing to you. And, you know, women also like the fact that men were the ones selling. So they're able to say, when I'm able to tell you, so not taste better. I mean, you have that level of confidence. Let's start with check. That was how the journey started in the private sector. From just the mere road seller, we became brand ambassadors for Unilever itself. Growth continues like that until we started doing a whole lot of market activations. In fact, I could give you tons of proposals on how you might transform your brand till today. We rose not just from that street selling, but to become supervisors on several coverage sales centers in Ojuwoye, in Youthcosum, as well as Ojo, you know. So for me, I think that alone is a drive to say. And when I was graduating, when I was having to do this job, I was about 200 level, right? By the time I was graduating, I had so much skill. In fact, my CV was 5-page. Of course, the conventional CV. The next job I was about to get, when the man saw it, like he was in Chipita, they said, he said it in Yoruba. Like, can you do this job? Like, you have so much experience for this money we want to pay you. I couldn't take that job because I felt like this one is small. But I'm in the development sector now. I work with Oxfam International. That scenario that day is part of the growth because the things I'm able to do by the time I graduated, you know, young people, by the time you graduate now, an average CV you see is university, NYSC, nothing else, right? Sure. So between the period of your 100 level and your 400 level, get something doing. That's the thing that I think, right? So by the time you're done, some schools do not have time for your IT. That's where you usually have something now. You say university, IT, NYSC. I mean, we don't even have time for IT these days. So I think it's important for young. It's an endless discussion about what you can do. You know, apart from getting skills, right? There's an endless thing about what you can do. And that spirit of volunteering would really make a great change because that's where you learn, right? So some of us that are not, you know, mechanics, I mean, if you want to be a mechanic, you have to learn, right? So that's a thing that I really need to add.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, you shared a powerful story right now. And I believe if if other people can share this type of stories, it would open the minds of younger people to everything that's possible, all the possibilities that have, just instead of waiting till they are done with the university and then they think life starts then. Life starts when you want life to start. Exactly, life starts when you want life to start. If you're ready to, volunteer and you grab opportunities that are there when you are in university, you can do that instead of waiting till some after school or after NYSC and they're like, oh, I want to start. You're already late. Technically speaking, you're late. Okay, so we have another panelist just joined us, Chris. Hi, Chris. Can you hear me? Hi, Chris.
Maybe he's mute.
Okay.
Maybe he's unmute.
So there's a poll going on right now for everyone except the panelists to vote.
Hello.
If you want
Sophia?
Japa. Hi.
My name is Chris. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Chris. We're doing amazing.
I've been
Thank
trying
you
to
for joining us.
No, don't come log on. You guys
Yeah, you came late. You missed all the fun conversations we've already been having.
I've missed already.
Yes.
Wait, is this Kenneth? Kenneth, is this you?
Yeah, it is me.
I've never known your son name. Hello, Mr. Usman.
Hi, Chris. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Chris,
welcome.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Everybody has introduced yourself. Just give us a little bit of intro.
Okay. I'm a filmmaker.
Okay.
Married to one wife, have 3 kids.
Oh, awesome.
Nigeria.
Okay.
And pretty much I'm passionate about God, young people, and Africa.
Awesome.
Amazing. Amazing. So we've basically the initial conversation we had was Japa or more jobs. If having more jobs would actually help Nigerians not want to leave the country. So and everybody else, Kenneth, Usman, they were like, oh, well, it's more about the quality of jobs and, having that necessary skills, the skills that would place you on a global platform than just, trying to shoot for jobs in Nigeria. So those were their thoughts. Do you have anything you want to share?
The question is if Japa. Well, I saw it and I've been thinking about it and I'm asking myself.
Okay.
Will I personally, I don't believe in Japa.
Oh, okay.
But I also don't believe people should kill themselves living in a country that wants to strangulate every young creative. But I'm also worried about jobs. I don't think the problem with Nigeria is jobs, because an average Nigerian is an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs create jobs, so they don't need jobs. So I think there should be a middle choice, that is, make the space more conducive. Yes. Make the space more conducive for people to be able to create jobs. However, you can Japa if your purpose for Japa is to compare notes, learn a few, and bring back home.
Okay.
Japa is to run because you are afraid. The real Yoruba word, Ja, is taking off because what you have seen is enormous.
Oh.
So, yes. So, Japa is actually a sign of a coward. It's a sign of someone who fights to run away. And there are no heroes who Japad. But also, there are a lot of martyrs who didn't Japa but had to die.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So there's a balance. If you have to Japa, it has to be Japa for a purpose. So I'm running to get my foot on the ground. I'm running to carve my teeth. So when I give a bite, it goes deep. So I think it should be Japa for a purpose. But also to the government, don't create jobs, but make the place conducive for the average, resilient, entrepreneurial Nigerian to be able to create more jobs.
I mean,
Usman,
you want to say something?
In fact, I call that calculative Japa. I mean, I like that. Not to calculate your Japa. That's why I said relative discussion, right? Japa, getting a job in Nigeria, fine. If you need to Japa, I mean, there are reasons to Japa. You could go for education, you could go for training, you could go for a whole lot of things, right? And that should be, for me personally, should be a benchmark. Japa with so much of calculations and not just Japaing because everyone else is going. You don't have a skill, you want to Japa. That was going on.
Yeah. Let me add something also. I feel like also adding to what Chris said, especially when people think of like Japaing, is it's not that easy over there, right? And my first warning to people who say they want to leave is how well prepared are you, right? So what is actually taking you there? It's not just to go to Canada and Canada will just joylessly give you a boatload of money, right? You might have like the story of a viral story that went a couple of rounds ago, where someone that worked with the CDN left his job, transferred over to Canada, his new country, right? And had to start doing stuff in supermarkets, carrying things that him as a big boy in Nigerian CDN wouldn't have thought about, right? And that he took like 5 years to get away from that rat race kind of thing. So it's like you want to go to a different country. How well prepared? Do you know if they will need a certain kind of like qualification? Like for Canada, you need 1 year of working experience. So whether you have a PhD or whatever, as far as you go to Canada, you must try and work for like 1 year before they give you like proper access to good jobs. So that should be your back runner. And also just try to get like a project management certificate before you leave the country so that you can easily get work and not just rely on like your Nigerian credentials, because make sure you plan, like Usman also said, before just Japaing.
I mean, like, so right, you have to be intentional, not just deciding that, because everybody, it looks like leaving the country is the solution. What is your plan? Do you know what it takes to live in another country? Have you actually done your own research? How do people over there treat people from Nigeria? Because you cannot put aside the fact that you're a Nigerian or you're a Black person. Racism is still, very much out there. Issues with you're a Black person and all of that. Those are issues that people still have to deal with at the country. So have you went to things like that before you decide to Japa? And just a doctor friend of mine, he owns a party. I don't know if you know my party. So the founder of my party has been to more than 20 countries. I've known him for quite some years. He has been to more than 20 countries. And last time I met him, he lives in Benin, FYI. He lives in Benin, has two, global platforms, one for mothers and for young people. And I asked him, you've been to so many countries, you've lived in these countries. Why have you not just relocated? And he said, well, to be honest, he doesn't see what he needs to relocate for. And that was not coming from a place of pride, or it was coming from a place of certainty, of being intentional about what he wants. He said most of the solutions that he has to provide, Nigeria needs it, Africa needs it. That if you take the solutions to those countries, they already have the solutions in place. They don't need it. It becomes irrelevant. But over here, you can still provide those solutions and it will mean something to the average Nigerian. And then he's like, there's no place like home. Actually, you feel you are well treated here and all of that. And so he has lived in several countries, but he always enjoys coming back to Nigeria. He says he's not relocating anytime soon. And so I feel with exposure, if you're traveling, if you're Japaing to go and taste, so let's see how life is somewhere else and compare that and see, how can I bring back to my country? What can we change? What is working in the US, working in Canada, working that I can replicate here in Nigeria? That's a good reason. Come on.
Sophie,
Yes.
I want to share a story. So I consult for one international NGO, and one of their staff. So the NGO is based in America. So they normally take their staff to America from time to time to train them. And so one of their staff, unknown to them, was already planning to Japa.
Oh, wow.
So for this training there, and this guy, while he was in Nigeria, was earning somewhere around $1,000 or something like that. I can't remember. $2,000. And so he traveled to America, and when they were on their way back, his colleague was in the plane. They had booked their seats next to each other, and he didn't show up in the airport. He didn't show up in the plane. And so they come back without this guy, thinking they've lost the guy. I hope he's not dead. Hope he was not kidnapped. Also now seeing on Facebook, he's working at a coffee shop selling burger.
Oh my God.
And end of the day, I asked myself a question: what he'll be making selling burger, maybe $150 or $200 or $300 a month, or a week or something. And if you make dollars in America and spend in Nigeria, it has more value. You and I know that when you make the money over there, taxes, the rates of everything, your rent, your whatever, apart from even the racism and the classism and all of that goes on there. So, but I just realized that some people, because his story was very pathetic to me, and he's still not back. He's still there. He's left that job. He's been replaced at the job. He stayed back and he's selling burger or doing whatever he's doing. But it just shows you that there is a defeatist mentality that propels a lot of these actions. That's one. And two, people get excited about their environment. But it's really not about your environment or your community. It's about your level of living. Because you can be a broke person in Holland and a comfortable person in Kaduna.
True.
So people always get carried away by the environment, by what is going on around, the fact that everything is working. They will keep saying, you have to take lights here. What are you even using the light? When the light is on, what are you using the light for? You need for light?
Have lighting here.
Watch TV, phone. What are you using the power for? People that are doing stuff that are running generator are complaining. You too are complaining that there's no light in Nigeria. What do you need light for? If they take light now, will you die? What are you? There's only phone you will not press. So I think there's also this narrative of living abroad is good life.
Exactly.
Pictures for the gram and all of that. But we need to understand that to also survive in this place, there are demands. There are rules that apply there. You can go to bed in Nigeria as a broke nigger and wake up in the morning as a billionaire. No other country in this world.
True.
No other country that I know that you will go to bed and just wake up and say, praise the Lord, though. I went to see me now with 500 people from nowhere. And nobody's going to say anything to you. Only Nigeria. So all I'm saying is, I think also there's a mentality behind all of this. Sorry, I'm in the program, so you might hear a few people around. So all I'm saying is that there's a mentality, and I will say this to wrap. Somebody shared a story with me and said slave trade back in the day was people coming to our country, other races, talking to our leaders, brothers betraying brothers, and people being put in chains and pushed into underground in the ship and shipped to Caribbean or America. Say, but slave trade today, you buy your chain, you buy your ticket, you kidnap yourself.
And you take yourself.
And you take this country to go and be a slave. There are no more farms, but we're still butlers, we're still kitchen people, washing plates, taking care of the aged. I'm not saying it's bad to do all of that. But whatever job you do that you do not take dignity in the labor, that you don't feel proud about. A lot of Nigerians that go there are not proud to show what they do there. They're only proud when they come back for Christmas and they've converted their dollars to Naira and they're sparing it to the village. But they're not proud enough to take a picture of themselves while they're washing those plates or cleaning those old people's poo abroad. So you see that it's a slavery mentality, it's a defeatist mentality, it's a second-class citizen mentality.
Thank you so much, Chris. So I'm just going to, go over some of the comments and questions that we have. Rachel asks, does anyone have an experience of working outside Nigeria? What is the experience like? So does anyone Anybody? Kenneth?
Okay. So mine was a bit brief, so it's not so like 5 years experience. But I had an experience working out from Dubai for a particular company, and my experience is, well, I think the day I landed in Abuja and the driver was driving anyhow, I was like, yes, I'm back. When he was like, driving fast and all of that, I was like, yes, because I know like Dubai roads, like they bill you before you even enter. I think the weirdest fact for me was when I got to the airport taxi and I saw is it 15 dirhams or something like that in the car, and I was like, is it that the guy did not refresh his meter? He doesn't know that he's about to take me on this new ride. Like, why is he reading 15 dirhams already? All right. And it was just basically the shock. But in terms of like proper working experience, I would say it's a bit lonely. And a whole lot of things you take for granted here in Nigeria will like properly shock you. Like you walk on the street, you try to greet someone, they just completely ignore you, and you're in an elevator with like 5-10 people, but everybody's on their own, that kind of thing. So I would say Nigeria, if Nigeria could be better and more, like say, suitable for a lot of us, I think would just prefer to stay in Nigeria. Because right now on Twitter, everybody wants to be a Nigerian, right? Nobody wants to not be a Nigerian. So why Japa? So in terms of like outside experience, there's really not much to it apart from, let's say, if you get a quality job and you have good life amenities like lights, water. But Chris said, you can do without lights. So I was like, yeah.
Okay. So does anybody else have any, contribution to that? I know Taiwo, there's not enough jobs for the youths in Nigeria. The average Nigerian job gets you a looking at some critical factors like transportation and feeding, which is gulping a larger part of the salary. Most youths have resolved to stay at home. While we are busy building our population that only matters during election, we have failed to industrialize the country. If you can make $150 a week at a coffee shop abroad and any 70K in Nigeria, the reward for labor is entirely humiliating. Thus, the reason that most people want to japa. We are currently losing professionals to Japa. In the last 3 months, Nigeria has lost hundreds of doctors to foreign countries who are able to give them a lifeline, which is basically what we shared, at the start. Our government needs to work on the quality of job. We need to have a system that checkmates and, ensures that things are working properly, which is like, to be honest, is a huge conversation, which we cannot even have today.
Can I jump on this? Right? Because okay, there's this online mag called zikoko.co, right? .com, and they normally do this story where they talk about the Naira life, and it's basically an interview with someone who is earning money but on different ranges, right? So it's the cases where they talk about people earning like 48 million in Nigeria as an oil worker in Lagos, right? And the guy just goes up about talking about how he earns, how he spends his money, and all of that. And people were like shocked, like in this same Nigeria that we are all complaining, you're earning 48 million naira, right? And I was like, okay, it's not going to hurt me because the guy is like 30-something years old, and I'm like 20-something at the time. I was like, and it's for the airborns above, older than me, right? Then he did a story of this 21-year-old lady who, before even graduating, had like very good, like a series of job, right? And by the age of like 22 or 23, she was already earning, I think, close to 2 million naira per month as a digital marketer. And I was like, wow, like that really hit hard for me because I was like, this is my mate now. What is she doing that I'm not doing, right? And it's in a sense, it's like, it's unfair to say this, that quote where it goes along the lines of like, don't think about your government before you think about what you do for your government. I mean, think what you do for your country, right? Because how many people are actually looking for opportunities outside? There are companies that are willing to pay good people like it's a good money, right? If they can, as far as they can do the job. And there's tons of opportunities around programming, digital marketing, content creation, TikTok. You
HR.
can even be a TikTok influencer. You can create TikTok videos for companies, right? So these are
Yes.
like tons and tons of opportunities out there. But the discouraging thing is that you need to put in a lot of work, a lot of resources into yourself to gain this experience. So you might just easily just want to watch Netflix and complain that the average salary is 40, 30, 50K, which I say, yeah, it is in most cases when you don't apply for things that would require more from you, right? So if you want to be mediocre, like that would be the average. But if you want to do more and push yourself more, seeing that the level of things in this country is hard, you actually need to do like 5 times the work, right? Then there are, like I would say, there are opportunities available. Because even Sophia like here, do like 4 jobs, guys. So,
so I tried to do the math. Of earning 150K per week. That's just about earning, when you convert, maybe use 500 naira conservatively, that's about 300K a month in Nigeria. All that aside, do you know that with 70K a month, 80K a month, 100K a month, you will survive well in some part of this country? As I am, I've traveled to over 21 states in this country, and I've lived in not less than 6 states, as in live, like wake up, sleep, see what the society looks there about. And I give you a quick example of maybe living in a place like Kebbi, for example. I mean, if you have an household, because of the nature of how food is in abundance there, the agriculture, you don't probably would even spend so much, right? You know, you can't compare within the same country. If I earn 70K in Lagos and I earn 70K in places like Kebbi, Sokoto, Kaduna, Adamawa, in Benin, bless you. Right? There are some people, they are very comfortable. In fact, they have businesses beyond what they are earning because the place where they are is not so demanding. I mean, you don't have to even kill yourself. When I was working in Kaduna, I could wake up 7:30 and still get to my meeting more than farthest kilometer, 10, 15 in by 8 o'clock, because this struggle wasn't there to, Jama, Lagos now. So that's a point. Again, to buttress Kenneth's point, you see, when you see it, it tells, is the peak of what you see. And being ambitious, it's also a function of where you see. It's a function of the relationship and the network that you keep, right? So there are people, like you said, young people in this country earning far interestingly well, right? And sometimes I usually try to, because I'm a Lagosian, I've stayed all my life in Lagos, but now I am walking across the north like I'm lost. And people will be like, what are you looking for? Lagos is very competitive in itself, right? I mean, how many young people want to work with Andela? How many people want to work with the oil companies there, right? But guess what? You probably have some job. The kind of skill you have is probably needed somewhere up north. I mean, security challenge and all. But before then, we were not interested. The only hats I was looking for in Lagos is just, is this place in Ikeja or is it in Surulere? I mean, that willingness to explore. Okay, you want to Japa now, you're not even willing to Japa within your space here. I've had a friend leave Abuja to Port Harcourt to go work with an oil firm. I mean, it takes a lot of that courage to want to get the job that you desire. They won't come to serve you the right job on your table. You have to work for it. While job hunting, in fact, the job, I usually tell people, I work with Oxfam Internationals now, and by the time my job interview ads and all of these things, I had forgotten that I applied for the job. Why? Because I do so much of application. You throw so much out, and then you triangulate some everywhere. In fact, it was when I became successful in the interview, I went back, or when the interview meeting invite came, I read the JD. I didn't check the location. It was after I became successful. Oh, where did they say I would work? Oh, Kebbi and Adamawa. Wow. I mean, for me, it didn't serve as a thing because I'd left Lagos, lived in Kaduna, volunteering for a while, and here I am in a new job. But you see, it's a different ball game when you don't prepare yourself, right? You prepare yourself those jobs will not come to meet you at your doorstep. And again, the social security of the country is the reason why a whole lot of us want to Japa, to be honest, because I mean, I tell someone, I said, oh, in the same Nigeria, people will tell you, oh, it's better to have a business or to have a job 9 to 5. You know, that's another conversation for another day, right?
Well,
But even
in
in being an entrepreneur, there are certain things you must know. Because have you registered all your family on an health insurance? Because when the shock of an health challenge comes, if you're earning 9 to 5, it's easy. You know, the ding ding will come at the end of the month. But if you're selling a product, you must wait for a customer to come by before you get something to pay the hospital bill. So there's a whole lot to really put together, right? But more, I mean, that's not still stopping you from exploring international jobs. And you must come, like Chris said, with that level of preparedness, right?
Okay, so we have like a few minutes left before we end the conversation. I'm just going to read one last question. Jamie says, what is the future of work and survival compared to other countries abroad? That's a very deep question because I usually do not like comparing Nigeria to other countries. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
Unfair comparison, but we're doing
Very
well.
unfair.
Yeah, but I think I have a take on that question.
Okay.
Right? In terms of like the future of work, right? I think it could be scary and also quite fortunate for Africa, right? Scary in the sense that Google did an event in Nigeria calling Africa the next 1 billion users, and nobody objected to that, right? In that event, and everybody were there celebrating. I was like, they just called your continent the next 1 billion users. Like, think deep, right? So you guys are just going to be using whatever they produce. Are you okay with that fundamentally, right? So that is in a case where it's scary. Then in a case where it's like quite fortunate is that a lot of companies right now are looking to invest. So the reason when we talk about like Japa, I want to make a funny statement and say, but Obi Kubana is not Japaring from Nigeria. He's still in Nigeria. Dangote is not Japaring, you know. Or Tedola, whether he likes it or not, if he's in Monaco or London or wherever, he always still comes back to Lagos, right? And the same goes for most of the high net worth people in the country, right? And when you look at the numbers, treasury bills, average term investments in developed countries are like 1%, 3%, 5%. In Germany, it's like negative. So to save your money, you're actually losing your money, right? I don't know if most of us can understand that. But in Nigeria, in Africa, in Ghana, in Kenya, you have percentage going up to 15, 20, 10, 9, right? So it tells you that there's still room for development. And if you invest money here, you will get it. It's just once we get grips on our security, I think we'll be a lot more comfortable. Like take, for example, tomato juice. So someone worked for an NGO, gained experience about the country and whatever, and discovered that there was a lack in tomato paste and decided to farm it, right? Went to Harvard Business School, came back. By the way, this person is not a citizen of Nigeria, right? Came back, borrowed money from Nigerian banks. Usman is laughing. Borrowed money from Nigerian banks, developed the factory, and now it's now 18, right? But borrowed like 5 billion worth of Nigerian money to do this thing in Nigeria, right? And for me, I'm like shocked that there are Nigerians here with the same capabilities, access to funds, just there looking at this woman, right? Like there's no competition in their blood to like, it's just like, so there are opportunities here when the foreigners are coming down here to invest. Take all the supermarkets in Abuja, like most of the good ones, Lebanese, foreign people investing, right? So what is happening? People are seeing opportunities in the country. Why is it taking hard time for us to see the same opportunities that are always available?
No disrespect to everyone else who is working hard and trying to put themselves out there. To be honest, a lot of young Nigerians are not ready. We think we are, but we are not ready. I feel like for most people, they are waiting for things to be handed over to them. But life doesn't work that way. Even in the foreign countries that you want to migrate to, Life doesn't work that way. We have a responsibility to create a future that we will enjoy. And I think it's the whole, waiting for something to happen for you instead of making it happen for you by yourself. So there are so many opportunities. You find a lot of young people, they have phones, they have access to internet, and they're not learning anything different. They're not upgrading their skill. They're not choosing a certain path to follow and then working towards becoming the best in that, choosing field that they have, they've chosen. So it's a whole lot of conversation. It takes us creating that future that we want to look at, that want to, enjoy tomorrow. But yeah, to be honest, comparing, that's it.
I think there's something, Sophie. I say something, Sophie. I think we need to take a step a little backwards to education.
Okay.
I think even the way we are educated in Nigeria is the reason why people want to Japa, because you are trained to use existing businesses. I'll give myself as an example. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an engineer. I'm an engineer by schooling. I went to school, I studied mechanical engineering. I did all the things I need to do in school. I have a certificate in my house, but I have never practiced. And I'll tell you why I've never practiced. Because I didn't become an engineer to fix cars or to turn knobs in the oil company or to write down charts from visibilities and being able to do forecasts and all of that. I became an engineer because I wanted to create. I became an engineer because I wanted to reduce the traffic of cars in Lagos. I became an engineer because I wanted to be able to have cable vehicles in Jos and all those mountainous places in Nigeria. I wanted to build stuff that would help us move. Engineering is to help life get better by employing technology. But you were doing that, and what we call manufacturing in Nigeria is people importing parts from China to assemble in Kaduna or assemble in Enugu or assemble in wherever they are. But we want to create to solve our own direct problems. But we're not taught to be visionaries. We're not taught to create things. We're taught to align to the status quo, because you hear the British curriculum. You hear things that the colonial masters brought are still being used even as we speak. Now, why will we be Japan when the entire world, you said Google just came and declared us as the next 1 billion users in Africa. The entire world is coming this way. Because what will make you the next Elon Musk? What will make you the next whoever it is that's important, Warren Buffett or whoever? It's no more in America. It's no more in Canada. The best you can do is to join the all you can do is to fix your personal problem. That's all you can do. But now, what we fail to realize is the gold mine we're sitting in. So yes, you've gone to school, but because you've gone to school, you can't be a barber because you feel being a barber doesn't have any dignity in it. But imagine if every hair, where I barb my hair in ShopRite in Airport Road in Abuja, I pay 1,000 naira to barb my hair. 8,000 naira. That's almost $2. Meaning that if you barb 100 head, the barb, you barb 100, that's $200 a day. That's what that guy is making from the whatever. So if you barb that hair at 1,000 naira, you barb 100, that's 100K. You barb 10, that's 10,000. You work for 30 days, that's 300,000. But we'll rather go back to those countries and do these things there, facing racism, paying tax in another man's country, developing their country, making it better, and stay here and make a living. Now, I think fundamentally, is if you cannot find a job, maybe to look inward and see how we can begin to create jobs. See what you spoke about the tomato woman. People have to explore chances. I came out, I got a job in the entertainment industry. I worked for a year or two, and then I realized I had capacity to build more jobs. I don't know how many people I've employed today, not because I'm trying to blow my trumpet, but I'm saying that if you can't find jobs, maybe it's because you're supposed to be creating one. And creating jobs, that's why I keep saying that I don't think the government should be creating jobs, because all they will do is to increase the recurrent cost of our budget. That's what they keep doing. But what they need to do is to invest in the capital budget. things that can make us now create the jobs. So I would never want to apply for any president or any council or anybody's jobs and employ people into ministries that the people that are there don't have jobs. You don't add 2 million people there to go and still not have jobs. Because two things, you are just paying money for nothing, then they are sitting down there doing nothing. So they are becoming liabilities to the country. So my point is, with all the food, with all the agriculture that is out there, my point is, with all the people that need to be serviced, I was telling my wife recently, she was working and she resigned and started her own business. And while she was working, she kept saying, I wish somebody would just come and give me fresh vegetables and fresh fruits every evening after work that I can take home and fry. I said, don't you think that's even a business? And you can take fresh vegetables, fresh things, and go to working wives who don't have the time to go to the market. You take that burden off them and add an extra 200 naira, and you have 10 customers, that becomes 2,000 naira, and take it for a month, it becomes 60,000 naira. But we'd rather be in one office, Facebooking and reading a novel that is boring, and at the end of the month, you hear pakam, pakam. And the thing about jobs, again, that scares me is the day that job ends, you hear of high blood pressure, liver problem, kidney failure, because all their lives are built around when we are sitting on a gold mine. We are more than half of the United States of America. There are 350 million people. We are more than 209 million people in Nigeria. So all you need to do is to find, Alibaba said that, do you know that there are more than 10 to 20 weddings every weekend in Nigeria? 20 or 200, he said. I can't remember the number he said. And he said, do you know that all you need is to target 1% of these people? Imagine you're able to access 1% of Nigerians for anything, and they give you 10 naira. That's 2 million people giving you, that's 20 million naira. So if you're selling, that's what Dangote, the richest man in Nigeria, sells stuff that everybody in this conference is using. There's either Dangote sugar or Dangote cement on your wall, or Dangote salt, or something. The man has found something everybody's consuming. So you want it to be touched, you want it to be accepted, you want it to be something that sounds very, very exportable. But what we fail to realize is that if money is what you're looking for, find the money, leave those other big climbs and big names and big fame. Get the money. So I think also the young people need to understand that Nigeria might not be like Canada and Holland and Australia and America that has an organized working system where there are enough jobs for their citizens and even other citizens. Nigeria is just an open market. If you find out the market, you make the money, you become richer. Spend more time thinking, what can I do that 1% of Nigerians would go for? They would go for it if it's something that they need. And that's what makes you rich. If you create value, people will pay for the value, and they will exchange the value with money, and you become richer.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to what Chris just said, while we're working on creating opportunities and jobs for ourselves, trust me, there are so many opportunities abroad. The number of LinkedIn notifications, job notifications I get every day about, a company abroad looking for a virtual or a remote worker. So many companies have opened up to hiring remote workers. It means you can literally work from anywhere in the world and get paid in foreign currency. If that's what you're looking for foreign currency, no problem. The jobs are there.
Japa.
Yeah.
Japa.
like I always say, there's no one solution to anything. If you see that this Japa is not working, please upgrade your skill and position yourself to access foreign and global opportunities, which are all there, to be honest. Okay. We've had such an amazing and exciting conversation, and I wish we could just keep going and keep talking and all of that. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Thank you, Smart. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Youth Collaboration Summit. It was an amazing and very interesting conversation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who took out the time to attend.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. So I don't know if Gideon is here to just round off and end this conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, before that, I just want to add that for anyone that's looking for experience, on, let's say, how to get started or guidelines on remote working, right? I wrote an ebook, right? So you can check it
Yeah,
on my
Kenneth
website.
was on ebook. It's interesting. I've
Yeah,
read
so you
it.
can check it out on remote jobs, platforms to use and get started on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I look forward.
Gideon, are you here to help us round off, or should I help us do that?
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Gideon is unavailable, so I think, Sophia, you can do us the honors to round up. We really appreciate all the panelists and attendees who have took the time to be on this webinar. It's very insightful. One thing I picked from Chris Ode was, if you can't find jobs, maybe you need to be creating one. So I hope someone has taken something from these. Very insightful. Thank you all. We hope to do this more often to engage more young people in the right direction. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So please guys, you can follow our social media handles at Youthcosum, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you're interested in getting Kenneth's book, his link is in the chat section. You can just check that out. So I hope next time we have this conversation, we won't be talking about Japa anymore. We'll be talking about, solutions that we'll be creating, or we've started creating already.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, and have an amazing,
thank you. Good to meet you, Chris.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah.
Bye.
Same here.
Please don't forget, follow Youth Collaboration Summit on all social media platforms at Youthcosum. All right. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.